Alright, welcome to the second video in the mission template tutorial. So in this video we'll be actually looking at the mission file in Arma. So just going to open it now. So open, and then remember put it in MP missions folder, not missions folder. So I'm going to collapse that, and I'm going to click on MP missions and open that. Alright, and now that we have the mission file open, we will first see these 5 comments. So this section is just the introductory comments that you should read before doing it. So I'll just go through and break. This top one is just the name of the category, so it's just the intro comments we have to read. So this one here in the top left just reminds us that if we want to customize the script settings, we have to go to the file called initserver.sqf. We'll talk about that more later in a different video. Top right, just a reminder to read the full text of every comment in tooltip. You'll see that there's the title here, but then you also mouse over it and there's more text there, so that's what it means with the tooltip. So the next comment, it just tells you how to change to different blue 4 faction. You can read that. I'll explain it myself though. Voice form in a minute when we get to the players. And then this just tells you how to change maps, so changing the map code at the end of the mission file. I already covered that in the first video. So just to go rewatch that if you forget or read this comment. Alright, now let's zoom out. And so the template is split into 5 areas. We just deleted the intro comments, which was one of the areas. So this top area in the north, this is just a series of examples. Oh, before we go further, I will note that this video is like the format of things might change as the template gets updated in the future, and this video may or may not be updated to reflect the changes, so don't panic if things look different are added. But it should still follow about the same format as this video. So up here in the north, the first category, this is just some examples that you might find useful. So like how to set up a task, so telling you that you cannot use the edit train module on dedicated server. When you use a hide train module, you have to make sure that the operate locally box is checked, or else it won't work on the server. If you have aircraft, you can place this nearby. It'll be invisible, but it'll let players rearm the pylons and everything. This is a useful trigger. You can go into it and change names of the speakers and then what they say, and so put this where you want, and then when players get close to it, then some subtitles will appear, like people are talking or something. Then this one is showing you how to use LAM's tasks. So you place down the module. Place the module. Don't use the waypoint versions, those are bad. Do the modules. So you place the module and then you sync the group leader. You only have to do the group leader of each group that you want to be on the module. So just right click sync and then left click the module. Got that squad set up. And then these other ones are just various commands you can use on the AI. You can do various things. So if you're not going to use these in your mission, you just delete them. It's that simple. There. Then the next section here, this is various stuff that you'll want to place wherever you spawn the players. And this stuff does not change depending on what side players to be. So we'll just run through this real quick. So the logistics vehicle, this is needed for the fob system, and it's also needed if you want respawn vehicle. So by default it's just a Hemet repair truck. And you can change that to whatever truck you want. Just make sure that it has the variable name logistics vehicle, like this. And if you're using it for logistics, you should probably also up its cargo capacity, spare parts inside it. Then there's this item if you're using the create resupply script that the players can use. which is on by default. So what it does, people can walk up to this, there's an action, and it spawns a resupply box that they can take and resupply everyone. It has 6 magazines of everyone's current primary ammo and some medical supplies and stuff like that. And this next piece, it's a trigger. When a player vehicle drives into this, touches ground, and shuts its engine off, then it will repair, rearm, refuel it. Simple. Then we have the ACE heal object. So this actually has a few different scripts attached to it, not just heal. You can modify all of those in the script settings, which will be covered in another video. But by default, this has a heal, a spectator, and a save loadout option all attached to it. It also has a emergency arsenal with only basic medical in case the rest of the arsenal is bug out option. And then we just have the 4 respawn modules here. Even if you're only using one side, I would still leave all 4 modules, because sometimes the player's side gets swapped by Zeus, or just randomly. So if they die, they need a place to respawn. So just place all these at your base. Over here, we have the Zeus characters. They're civilian by default, but if you want to change them to a different side, that's fine. Over here, we have arsenals. So these 2 cargo net boxes, they are full arsenals. That's why they have this code here that makes them full arsenal. Then this box in the back is a limited arsenal. It has just cosmetic and basic medical stuff. And then if you want a limited arsenal of everything in the current mod pack, you can find it in the Discord. It's not in the Mission template because it will change per mod pack. And we don't want to create mod pack dependencies on the template, because then it's a pain to use with different mod packs. But you can grab that from the Discord and insert it to the mission. And so just a quick note, if you want to make a custom arsenal, you can use an arsenal whitelist. Just know that an arsenal blacklist will not work server once uploaded. So you can use arsenal whitelists, not blacklists. So that's that section done. We'll talk more about placing those when we move all the characters to our starting point. Then next section is the players. So you have all 3 sides available, and since this is the 8-man squad template version, then it's 8 people each infantry squad. So each side has a 4-man command team. So by default, it's officer, JTAC, and medic. You can change that however. And then a recon team, and 2 aircraft teams, 2 armor teams, and 4 squads. So like if you don't have aircraft in your mission, then you can just delete these air teams or whatever. And once you pick which side to use, for example, I'm going to use blue 4, just delete the others. And then we'll come back to these in a minute. Follow them to our example starting area. Then this last section, this is just has some random stuff for the mission template. You shouldn't really be touching anything back here, so you know what you're doing. So just leave this be. There's not much to do with it. Alright, so we're going to bring our players and the arsenals and stuff over to where we want the players to start. So I select all of them with box. You can do either train mode, but I'm going to do the vertical mode where it doesn't change based on height, because they're going to be going over the seafloor and that will mess up their relative heights. So let's go and put these guys on the salt flat, just as an example. And snap to the surface. There. And like, if I didn't have the, like, so I'm not going to have the fob system, and I'm not going to have respawn vehicle, so I'm going to delete the logistics vehicle. Then I think we'll just stay on 4 arsenals, and yeah, the rest we'll do as an example. And now the players. So let's say I'm not going to have any aircraft, so I'm going to delete those. I am going to have 2 tanks though, so I'll leave those 2 crews. Let's say I wanted to make the players, let's make them US Army from RHS. It's by default they're just NATO from vanilla. So how you change it, you have to take the player setup for the same side. So like for example, if you want to change them to Russians, you have to take the Op4 player setup and change them. And so how you change them is So I want to change them to this Army Desert. So I'm just gonna pick out real quick, make sure it has everyone I need. Yeah, it has all the characters in. And then how you change them is that you select. Let's do the standard infantry first. So I'm going to select all the squad leaders. I'm going to do it in very specific order. I'm going to select the squad lead, then the second in command, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it keeps the same order as I would see in role select. I want to change them in the same order, or else they'll get messed up, because when you base a character using this method I'm about to show you, they'll be sent to the back of the line of the squad for seniority, to make him go to the bottom of the list in role select. But so I'm just going to replace them in the same order they were originally. So when it all ends, squad leader will be back up in the top slot, second one will be in the second slot, etc, etc. So I'm going to select all the squad leads. So I could left click the first one and then control left click the others, add to the current selection, or I could also do left click then right click and go to select, then go to select matching classes view. So what this does is that it looks at the character you have selected, it looks at its class name, so it's a squad leader, it's B soldier SLF, and then it'll look at what the camera can see and select all of the units that are the same type. So I've just selected all the squad leaders like that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to attributes. Then at the very top there's a drop down called object type. I'm going to open that, and I'm going to scroll down until I see the faction I want to change. So US Army Desert. And then I'm just going to select the squad leader, and then I'm going to select OK. So you can see we've changed the squad leader to the RHS one. And so I'm going to repeat that for the second one. Just going to change this to standard rifleman. I have to scroll down. You might be wondering why you have to do it this way instead of just placing a US Army squad down. That's because doing it this way keeps all the settings that the template puts on these units. So it keeps their like default radios, stamina settings, stuff like that. So there would just be a lot of problems if you just replaced them entirely. So instead you have to replace them like this, keeping the original settings. Alright, for the medics, I'm not going to do the right click select method. That's because there's 2 medics in each squad. So if I did the right click select method, it would select both of them, like each one in each squad. And so I could change them all in one go, but that would mess up the role order said before. Now I'm just going to select the medics in the first fire team and change those. And I'm going to repeat for the machine gunners. And then I just repeat the same thing for the second fire team in the same order. So I replace team leader, medic, auto rifleman, and rifleman AT in that order. I think you get the idea, I won't go through it. And so doing it this way keeps all their settings. So once you change that, unless you want to change loadouts or anything, you're good to go. You can just put these wherever you want in your spawn area. You don't have to change anything else with them. And then just do the same thing for these guys. So like if I wanted to change recon team to RHS, I would first take this guy, I would right click attributes, change the type, then do second guy, third guy, fourth guy. And then yeah, you would just throw these around wherever you want in your starting area, and that is it. That's the only thing I can think of that you would still have to change in terms of settings inside the mission file is like your respawn timer, I guess, but I wouldn't really recommend changing it from the normal 10. The environment settings, you would put your name in the author section. Don't put anything in title. That messes stuff up during mission review. And allegiance, I guess. And yeah, once you have that, you're all done with your player setup, and now you can just create the mission. You can spawn in the enemies and everything. That's it. Alright, I believe that's the end of this video then.